Back in July, there was still no school, and many people were asking, will remote learning really work? To get a better picture of what blended learning was before it even started, we talked with Education Undersecretary for Curriculum, Diosdado San Antonio. This is the Best of Agenda 2020. Yusek Dads, good morning to you. Kamusta na po kayo?
Okay naman po. Good morning din po, Sir Cito.
Wag mo na akong pinopo, sir. Pare-pareho lang tayong naglilingkod sa bayan. In any case, Yusek Dads, I guess I read that you are the Undersecretary for Curriculum Instruction at the Department of Education. Tama po ba yun?
Yes.
Okay, now, given that you are the USEC for Curriculum, siguro ang tatanong kong una, ano na ba ang magiging curriculum? What sort of a curriculum will we have for 2020-2021 in the context of COVID-19 and the pandemic?
When COVID-19 pandemic happened po, we were in the midst of reviewing the curriculum. And we had initial findings that the existing curriculum is congested, although in terms of the standards, it's comparable with the standards around the world. There was a support from UP, an office that is based in UP that guided us in the review of the curriculum. And then we said, if we are going to open school year 2020-2021, we need to come up with a streamlined curriculum. So immediately, our team evaluated the existing curriculum, and we have decided to reduce the competencies. We have identified the most essential learning competencies out of our list of like more than almost 15,000 to less than 6,000, a 60% reduction in terms of the learning competencies. But we made sure that when we identified the most essential learning competencies, we considered the criterion endurance. We made sure that the learning competencies identified as very important, essential, foundational, so that the kids will continue to be able to learn after completing this school year for the challenges in their next grades. We decided to retain them. So what we did was some competencies were merged, some competencies were retained as stated in our existing curriculum guide, and some competencies had to be we are not saying that many of these things removed are not important. We're just saying that for school year 2020-2021, we had to focus on the most essential ones, the foundational competencies. And also, we are allowing the schools to even supplement or enhance what we have identified. So this is not like absolute that these are the only things that they will cover. But
okay, so liwanagin lang natin, Dads, ano? So that kasi hindi lahat medyo may background sa education. So liwanagin na. When you say, you said 15,000 ba yun? Kamo? 15,000 competencies?
About that number.
Okay, about 15. Okay, yung 15,000 na yun, that is from kinder to grade 12. Ha? Grade 12, yes, di ba? Okay, so para, kasi baka sabihin, ano yan, nasisiraan ba kayo ng ulo? Mga bata lang yan, di ba? So, from kinder to grade 12, okay, you have approximately 15,000 competencies. Ngayon, ano po ba yung competency sa Tagalog or sa ordinaryong lingwahe? What do you mean by competencies?
Kakayahan po, kaalaman, kasanayan,
okay.
Kayang kaalaman, kakayahan at kasanayan.
Okay, so it would be good manners, right conduct, it would be reading and writing, o kaya arithmetic. Wala nang arithmetic, ano? Mathematics na. Napapaghalata edad ko no. Inabutan ko pa. Okay, inabutan ko pa arithmetic. So, yung competencies are the know-hows or the knowledge o yung kaalaman. Okay, so binaba ninyo to 60% kasi naman it only makes sense because given the restricted modules in terms of time, technology, yung attention span din ng mga bata at saka being stay at home, medyo kailangan talagang bawasan at kung ano lang yung pinakamahalaga pangsamantala. Correct po ba?
Yes po. So, ang natira po ay 40%. 60% yung nabawas.
Okay, 40%. Di mas maganda, mas kokonti na lang yung poproblemahin ng mga bata. Now, what are these competencies?
These are ano po, in
Ano yung
all
mga napili
learning
nyo?
areas.
Ano yung mga pinili nyo, priority nyo? I mean, if we are going to cluster them, what competencies did you select or prioritize?
Yung pong most enduring, kailangan nila so they could be ready for the next grade and life. Mga
Okay.
halimbawa po yung problem solving, yung communication skills, reading comprehension, at iba pa na nandiyan po yan sa aming learning continuity plan na ka-append yung list of the most essential learning competencies. Available
Okay.
po siya online.
Okay. Ano naman na magiging epekto nito? Kasi baka naman mamaya meron na namang magagaling dyan, magpa-survey o magpa-testing na naman. Tapos sasabihin, yung lalo na yung mga tiga-abroad, and then they'll start saying, oh, the Filipinos reading comprehension is really bad or they gave up on the arts, etc. Wala naman tayong pangamba na magkakaroon ito ng serious sacrifice on the students.
Wala pong inalis na learning area. So the learning areas are still there. Ang
Okay.
nabawas po yung i-deliver for the different learning areas. And hindi rin po pinalitan yung ating learning standards, performance standards. Ang pinalitan po yun na nga po ang in-upgrade or streamline natin yung competencies itself, yung mga kasanayan, kaalaman at mga pagkakaalam na dapat nandyan sa bata para maging handa siya sa future at maging handa siya sa susunod na grade.
Okay, pasensya ka na, Yusek Dads, para akong batang nagtatanong sa principal eh. Kasi, syempre, these are the questions that parents will be asking and other people will be wondering. We reduce the competencies from down to 40%. What will be, there's always a compromise. What are the risks? Now, okay, given that you have reduced the volume of work and learning, and you said that we did not sacrifice in terms of knowledge required. Okay, paano naman po sa teaching? Kasi sinagot mo na yung ano ang ituturo. Ngayon, paano ituturo?
Ngayon po, because of the presidential pronouncement that DepEd will of course implement na wala pong face-to-face learning sa mga paaralan, ang inihahain po natin ay distance learning delivery modalities na iba-iba po ang anyo. Yung pong traditional na naririnig natin at marami pa ang minsan may mga misconceptions pag sinabing distance learning, online lang daw yan. Isang uri lang po ang online distance learning sa mga forms of distance learning delivery modalities. Ang isa po ay yung pong online is for learners who have access to the internet at may gadget sa bahay. Yun naman po mga learners na walang internet pero may gadget, may laptop, may PC sa bahay, pwede rin po silang mag-modular offline digital learning. So, papadala po sa kanila through flash drives or other means, yung pong mga learning resources na pwede nilang buksan sa kanilang mga tahanan, sa kanilang mga gadget. Yung pong pangatlong uri, actually, yan, modular printed po. Yun pong alam ng generation ko, generation po yata natin, na dati pag nag-distance education tayo, we receive a self-learning module. And that is actually being finalized now. We're almost ready with all the modules for at least the first month. Kasi po, rolling naman yung ginagawa namin. So, after the first month, the next month will also be prepared. Ang isang option pa po ay ang pinakauna po talagang kailangan matapos namin yung self-learning modules because this will be converted into different formats ng learning resources. Yung digital format na gagamitin sa distance learning, saka sa yung offline digital format. Tapos po, gagamitin din po ang SLMs, i-convert din sila into TV and radio scripts. We are also using the educational TV and radio-based instruction as an option. At ang isa pa po ay gagamitin pa rin po ng DepEd yung mga textbooks. Kasalukuyan din po minamap kasi ni-reduce natin yung learning competency. So nililista po natin yung mga topics sa textbook na nakaangkop na sa competencies na gagamitin. At ang mga gagawin po ng mga paaralan, ito po, these are centralized efforts but the preparation of the self-learning modules have been done by the regions and pinati-hati po sila. Hindi po ito ginawa ngayon lang nagka-COVID. This was actually an ongoing effort because we knew, dati po kasi we wanted to prepare self-learning modules for emergencies that have been appearing more frequently. Katulad po yung sa Taal Volcano, eruption, kailangan namin gamitin yung mga self-learning modules na to. So, nung nagka-COVID po, sabi namin sa mga in-assign nating region, hinati-hati po ito, bayanihan ito sa DepEd, bilis-bilisan nyo because we will use it for the coming school year. Nabuuhin, hindi na lang po yung a few topics, etc. So,
okay, makasingit lang ng saglit, Yusek, ito po bang ating ginawang curriculum na ito, is this a temporary curriculum or is this something, because you yourself have said it, there have been all these disasters have become unwelcome, but they have become very frequent. Ngayon, we are now at the point in our fight against COVID-19 na tumataas na naman ang mga kaso, not just in the Philippines, globally, tumataas na naman ang mga kaso. So, the reality is that this situation may force us to distance learn or distance educate the children. Is this expandable or is this already a foundational curriculum that can simply be carried on long term?
Ang plano po namin is we will continue to get feedback kung ano yung impact ng implementation nito. And ang gagawin naman po natin ay i-enhance siya for future use kung applicable. Okay. But actually, naging responsive din po ito sa initial finding. Hindi ko alam kung nasabi ko kanina, nasa curriculum review ay ang finding po ay crowded daw at congested ang ating curriculum. Kaya kailangang magkaroon ng streamlining. So, in a way na napabilis po yung mga assignment ko kay Secretary Liling because when she recruited me to join the EXICOM, after serving the field for more than 30 years, ay sabi niya, curriculum review is your number one job. That was last year. So, talagang ongoing yung
kanya rin ako believe kay Secretary Briones. I mean, superwoman, pero more, even at her age, and that's a compliment, actually, at her age, that she recognizes the need for change, the need for efficiency, and material that can be learned. Kasi, alam nyo, masyado namang ginawang tambakan ng ideya yung DepEd. Parang meron lang magaling na government official o politician makaisip, oy, okay to, ilagay nyo ito sa curriculum. Ano ba yung ating mga anak? Computer na storage ang kanilang mga utak. So, ikaw ngayon yung may sakit ng ulo. Paano alisin yun? Pero hindi ka ba inaaway, dads, ng mga magagaling dyan? Oy, dapat dual language. Oy, dapat ganito, ganyan.
Ang katotohanan po niyan, before the pandemic came, yung issue on multilingual mother tongue-based education, yung MTB-MLE, na siyempre po, iba-iba yung mga pananaw ng ibang sector. We were actually ready na to stage a parang forum for everybody who wants to tell us about the language policy. At na hindi lang po natuloy dahil nga bawal nang mag-gather ng ano. It was set on the 25th of March na postpone, and nag-iisip kami ngayon kung pwede siya virtual, pero mas exciting po yata magkita-kita silang magkakaiba yung mga paniniwala tungkol sa language policy in a face-to-face meeting.
Alam mo
Other
na,
thing pong suportahan yung sinabi nyo, si Secretary Liling po has created a futures thinking unit in the Department of Education. That's how progressive the Secretary is. Talaga po, and nobody can even outperform her in terms of energy. Kahit 10 o'clock na yung meeting namin, buhay na buhay siya. Marami sa amin, inaantok-antok na.
Okay, so given that scenario, saan na tayo ngayon pupunta? Kasi nadinig ko yung isang interview ng isang undersecretary ng DepEd, si Yusek Pascua ba yun, na nagsabing aabutin ng 26 billion pesos para mabigyan ng mga computer o laptop lahat ng mga teacher na wala. And I don't know, while listening to the interview and other interviews of DepEd and politicians, etc., everybody keeps talking about cost. Pero pambili ng mga eroplano, pambili na panggawa ng basketball court, laging meron. Pero investments in education, laging may problema. What is the direction of the DepEd? Kasi I'm sure there are a lot of people who will support the DepEd in terms of investing in our future, because the quality of education determines the quality of businessmen, civilians, and employees, just like Singapore.
Ang direction po talaga natin ay, of course, we have identified the ideal scenario. Kung if we have unlimited funds, this is how we want the learning continuity plan to proceed. But realistic din po tayo, so we are armed with realistic goals and targets. Na we will really make sure that the strategies we are going to implement would be the most cost beneficial. So kahit po yung mga learning delivery, kasi sa akin yun nakaatang, that's my responsibility, we are already telling the team na kahit ito pong self-learning modules, which will cost also much pag ni-reproduce mo, kasi printing, palagay ko po mga kalahati ng mga mag-aaral would go for the self-learning modules. We are also considering the idea of allowing multiple learners to use one module. Instead na isa one-to-one, ay baka on rotation basis, kasi modular naman yung teaching, yung matututunan nila for 1 month na 4 weeks dapat. So pwedeng aralin na ng isang bata at yung isang bata naman ay iba ng subject ang inaaral muna, and within the month they all learn the same concept. So mga ganun pong strategy. When we have scarcity of resources, we have to be very creative in coming up with offer solutions.
Yeah, my question, Yusek, is this, no? Kasi trabaho ninyo, gawin yung curriculum, trabaho ninyo to conceptualize and implement. I don't know if the word implement is correct. You know, it's your responsibility to come up with the materials. But beyond the norm of face-to-face education, I don't think it is no longer within the capacities and capabilities of the DepEd to launch satellite, TV, distance learning in a massive scale. Who is helping the DepEd? Kasi yung pagsiset up ng TV, ng radyo, ng online, meron na bang task force? Well, I think you need more than a task force here. Meron na bang commission in charge for setting up the logistical requirements of this blended education?
Kami sa DepEd, may sariling partnerships office which has been harnessing the support of all stakeholders. So nandyan pa rin siya, at may mga initiatives po ang mga partners natin para mag-raise ng funds. Ang iba concrete yung offers, magdo-donate ng kung ano-ano. At may isang USEC po in charge of this, yung all partnerships in DepEd. Another one po, yung sa TV and radio, may separate TWG which I co-chair with USEC Alain, na ang ginagawa naman po is to implement the agreements now between Secretary Liling and Secretary Martin Andanar on how we can harness the government facilities. Although we understand limited ang reach ng mga government facilities, mayroon din pong mga offers. Actually, there's a committee on the learning resources and platforms committee that reviews all offers from partners and providers of different learning delivery platforms. Na siya pong nagdidetermina kung alin yung pipiliin at i-strategize kung saan sila i-deploy, anong grade, anong learning area. So, mayroon naman pong mga ganitong sistema.
Pero, Yusek, does it follow then, if we are only at this stage, does it follow then that the August 24 opening of classes is not going to be like the usual na everybody goes to school, quote unquote? Kasi kung hindi pa nasi-set up yung mga learning module para dun sa TV, para sa radyo, ipiprint pa lang ninyo yung modules na ipapadala, ita-transfer yon sa flash drives, it's already July 7. And I'm not trying to put down the DepEd. I just want to give people a reference point kasi we need to manage expectations, especially public expectation. Baka tayo, sabi-sabi, hindi, 24. Pagdating sa 24, ay teka, hindi kaya. Kakayanin ba?
May sarili kaming timelines. So sa aming timeline, hindi pa naman kami behind para ang ito ay maging available sa 24 of August. Ang isang lang kasi, overwhelming if you talk about more than 20 million learners and a very big system. But people do not understand that we have more than 40,000 schools. Most of the principals, and we have 200-something superintendents, 17 regional directors. Most of them are highly competent and mga veterano po sa mga ganitong challenges.
No. We're not talking about competency of the DepEd. We're talking beyond the DepEd, meaning sa internet, sa radyo, sa telebisyon. Kasi may mga modules yan, may mga kailangan i-broadcast yan, may mga script na kailangan ilabas. Ready na ba yun?
Sabi ko nga po kanina, according to our schedules, on time pa naman lahat.
On time pa, okay.
It will really be very busy between, even as we talk now, ang dami pong sabay-sabay na kailangan gawin. But ang gusto ko pong bigyang diin ay, hindi lang kasi isa ang gagawa. Tutulungan kami ng 40,000 principals. Ang reproduction po is delegated. So, hindi centralized. So, yung mga issues about logistics, hindi na sakit ulo for the first quarter. At least for the first quarter, nagka-agree na po kami na decentralize yung reproduction at ang development ng mga kailangan ay yun na nga po pinagtutulungan ng lahat ng sector ng DepEd. And I think, sabi ko nga po, according to our schedule,
on time pa.
Can we start the school year tomorrow? Hindi pa.
No way. Okay, no way. Okay, pero tingnan natin, August 24, and we do hope na kahit papaano maumpisahan, and as they say, in one form or another, as long as it starts, as long as the ship sails, okay na yon. Okay, we'll go for thank you very much, Yusek Dance, and maraming salamat sa mga inputs mo, and I sincerely wish you good health and all the best, because yung curriculum na yan, I'm sure pag lumabas na yan, naku po, marami na namang mangungulit sa'yo regarding sa content ng curriculum. Thank you very much, Yusek.
Thank you rin po. Appreciated po masyado yung prayers nyo. Kanina narinig ko kayo, you prayed for everyone. So we really appreciate. We need prayers kasi ang feeling ko po talaga, this is something that with God's support, we can all do together as a nation. So maraming salamat po sa suporta. Mabuhay po kayo.
Okay,
Cito.
thank you. Yusek Diosdado, Dad, San Antonio. Stay strong, stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless you.
God bless you
Okay.
too.
Many Filipinos started to rely more on the internet when the government imposed community quarantine. Then the ICT Undersecretary Eliseo Rio said that despite the improvements in the internet service, it was still not enough. This is the best of Agenda 2020. Probably the most active, hardworking officer of the DICT. Yusek Eliseo Rio, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Cito, and good morning to all those who are listening and look in your program. Thank you.
Okay. First up, we'd like to ask you what's happening at the DICT. Ano ba ginagawa ninyo? Because I don't know if you've been watching a lot of local TV right now, especially the news. Many of us who have programs, talk shows or interview programs or current affair programs, who interview government officials have a 30% chance of losing the interview because of poor signal. Ano po bang status natin ngayon in terms of internet connectivity in the country, sir?
Okay, a little historical background here. No, remember 2-3 years ago, uh, the first thing that the administration and the President Duterte asked for was emergency powers to solve the problem in EDSA. No,
Yeah.
DICT then advocated the work from home and classes from home because these are the two main causes of traffic in EDSA. And because of this advocacy, we had the telecommuting law. And because of that law, there was improvement in connecting our homes, our offices to the internet. No? And that is what is helping us right now. Had this pandemic crisis happened 2-3 years ago, we could not be as actively, the telecommunication infrastructure could not cope up with the traffic that we are experiencing right now. No, everybody are at home right now and connected to the internet, but you can see there is still uh, zero breakdown. No, we are still communicating as best as we can. Of course, saying that we need. There is still a big room for improvement. And that is what we are focusing now.
Okay, I remember, I think it was 2 years ago when you hosted the first ever telecoms summit in the
Summit.
Philippines. And I was part of I was host during that event. And I remember that all the participants unanimously agreed that there was a problem at the local government level where many telcos are trying to put up cell sites, but it's either someone is asking for anything from 50 to 300,000 for a special use permit in order to build one cell site. And there was a consensus, or I think a manifestation, that this would be submitted to the office of the president and the secretary of the local interior and local government para matigil na itong corruption and red tape at LGU level. What is the situation right now, sir?
Well, there is some improvement. We can say that. However, the improvement is really not enough. No. For example, right now, we have actually attracted 20 common towers providers, no, so that we can have more people, more companies putting up towers in our country because we badly lack towers. We need 50,000 more cell sites just to compare with Vietnam. We have only right now 20,000. Vietnam has 70,000 as of this time. Uh, the main problem, as you have said, was really getting permits. No, the tower were being built by Globe and Smart that time, and they need 27 permits from both national and local government.
27 permits and 150,000 on the average as grease
Yes,
money.
yes. No, well, I cannot say about anything about it.
Yeah, I know. I know you can't say it, but I'll say it because this is
Okay,
what came out in public during that first telecom
that time.
summit
Yes,
and has
that's
been the
true.
complaint of the telco company. Pero parang
Yeah.
hindi maaksyonan, hindi magalawan, or hindi madiktahan ng DILG. Now, given that we are in this state of national emergency, given the undeniable fact that we now all have to rely on internet speed heavily as a nation, and not just Metro Manila, but as a nation, what are you planning to do? Makakausapin na ba niyo si Presidente para matapos na itong kabaliwan na ito?
Well, actually, isang magandang nangyari dahil dito sa crisis na ito is that people realize, no, the importance of telecommunication in their lives right now. No, this is the new norm. Before we were used to having our transaction in the physical world, no, meeting physically, going to the banks physically, and so on and so forth. Uh, but this pandemic crisis showed us that almost all our activities can be done in the virtual world, no, just like what we are doing right now. And the number one problem into having a very efficient way of doing this is, of course, connectivity, telecommunication infrastructure, of which there was some improvement, no, compared to 3 years ago, but not enough. As I have said, we have actually in last year, 2019, attracted around 20 common towers providers from all over foreigners and local.
Yeah.
Uh, and they put in money. Actually, 2019 was historical also because for the first time in our history, BOT logged in a one more than 1 trillion committed investment, and one half of this came from the tower provider, the passive telecommunication infrastructure provider, put in actually almost half a trillion committed investment. But when they started rolling out, then this problem again of permits and everything slowed them down, no? And uh, so this is we partnered with ARTA to more or less uh, good thing ARTA also came into being about 2 years ago. But of course, we were having the final action plan when this pandemic hit. No, but again, it showed us that even now the local governments are crying for connectivity. So we just turned the table to them because we have this for so many years. In fact, 2 decades. You have made it very difficult for us to roll out telco infrastructure. No, so that is why we are having this problem right now.
So
Uh,
they are all now paying for their sins.
that is it, and it took it took this crisis to do that. No, and in fact, this afternoon. We will have a online hearing in Congress specifically to tackle this problem. Actually, the committee concerned on the banking industry, how it can go on, and it will heavily depend on telecommunication connectivity. So we have to solve this problem. And
So,
if I may, Cito,
yes, sir.
yes, please.
Go, no, go ahead, sir. Go
Okay,
ahead.
okay. How are we addressing this problem right now? One main problem is that we really lack connectivity to the homes, no, to fixed establishment. We have always been dependent on connecting to the internet through the mobile infrastructure.
Yeah.
So right now, even if I'm at home, I am still connected to the nearest cell site of a telco for me to enter or to connect to the internet. No, and since we lack cell sites, of course, there is a crowding, no, of the use of cell sites. That's why our internet is slow. And since we are connected to a mobile infrastructure, it is quite expensive. We need more connectivity direct to the home, fibers to the home, and things
Mhm.
like that. And small players can do this. Small players can do this. In fact, I was saying that to the small players, other than the big incumbent, if you just connect, let's say, 90% of homes to your network, no? Even if the people living these homes are Globe or Smart subscribers, even if they have the SIM card in their cell phones, once they reach their homes or their office or anything that restaurants that where you are the one providing for the Wi-Fi there, they will no longer be the subscribers of Globe and Smart. All of these will be your subscribers. However, there is need also because really they have to roll out. No, takes time to roll
Mhm.
out fiber to the homes. And again, the number one problem is permits, no, and things like that. But
Yeah.
in yes, in other countries, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, even Malaysia, no, 100% of homes and fixed establishment are directly connected to the internet.
But has the DICT, has your department, Secretary Honasan, yourself, wala ba kayong champion? Wala ba kayong champion or someone, or can't you yourselves reach out to the president and ask the president to make a declaration, an official or executive order, just to remove the ability of local governments to block the construction installation of cell sites. I mean, yes, they have the right to charge for permits, yung magkano yung babayaran sa permit, magkano yung babayaran sa city tax, pero yung alisin yung karapatan sa kanila para pag-aralan o tanungin o questionin yung pagtatayo ng cell sites, because we can't. This is a chicken and the egg situation, and you and I have been, you more importantly, have really devoted so much time and effort to get all of these cell sites and all this connectivity up there, but it's not within the DICT. It's either with the president, office of the president, or the DILG. Paano na yan, sir?
In fact, we welcome the appointment of Secretary Honasan as the DICT secretary, no, because he has the ears and heart of the president. And of course, this is one thing also that the secretary has been doing since he has assumed the office, no, uh, trying to increase the rollout of our infrastructure, no, and there is some success on this. But we are really well. We think that this crisis had opened the eyes of everybody, including the president, on the importance of that advocacy of rolling out, no, just to be at par with our neighbors, just to be at par with Vietnam, even Cambodia, no, and these countries are faring well, very well in this pandemic crisis because of their good, more efficient connectivity to the internet. So here we are really well being punished, if I may say the word, of
Yeah.
our lack of interest in rolling out infrastructure in our country,
Okay,
telecommunication.
what about the third player? Because last I heard from the third player, they say, para silang nagteka-teka, meaning it won't be in 2021. It will probably take longer. So, you get the sense that everything that could have isn't happening, even the third player. What's their situation, Yusek Rio?
Well, the third player, if they are on track, no, they never even indicated that they are asking for extension of their commitment, no.
Okay.
Uh, on July 8th, they will be technically audited on their commitment. That means in the first year, they should have 27 Mbps speed, and they should have covered 37% of the population. No? So far, they say they can do it. I mean, there is no indication that they are uh, asking for some kind of extension. That is, however, the technical uh, well audit, no technical audit that we're going to do, but their commercial operation will be after the technical audits. They want to be sure that once they operate commercially, there will be no more concerns or problems that will beseech their network, no?
Yes.
And as per their franchise, they are allowed up to March of 2021 to go into their commercial operation. So depending on the audit that NTC will conduct on July 8th, they will. But that is the limit, no? As per their franchise, they really have to operate by March of 2021. So whether they operate before that will depend on the technical audit that NTC will conduct on July 8th of this year. And so far, they have not used this pandemic crisis as a reason to ask for or to request for extension
Okay. We are
until this point.
Yeah, we are clearly paying for our sins. Well, ako, ikaw, we're not paying for those sins because we never committed those sins of blocking and corrupting the construction of a network cell site, a telecom cell site. But moving forward, okay, we now know that in the new normal, more of us will want to work from home, will have to work from home, and even the Department of Education, Secretary Briones has commented time and again that we will have to slowly but surely shift to online. She's already talking about giving a lot of the students tablets and then education online. But in your analysis, I don't know, is this DICT doing a technical study right now, an analysis of capability and capacity of our telecoms in the Philippines? In from 0 to 10, from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, where are we in our technical capacity and capability to service the expected demand of people working from home, doing business from home, and children studying at home online?
Right now, I would say between 6 and 7. And however, we are addressing, especially right now, people are already working from home, no? But classes from home, there were some problems. Students are complaining they could not connect, no?
Mhm.
And they are, especially those poor students, are disadvantaged in this aspect. So what we are doing right now, Tito, is we are now shifting our free Wi-Fi program to connect uh, classrooms. Uh, in fact, right now we have 6,000 uh, uh, satellite VSATs, no? Where even if there is no connectivity from the telcos, we can put a free Wi-Fi zone, and this will be mostly spread out to classrooms, public classrooms, no? And so this one we are targeting the opening of classes this year. Uh, Also, we are now encouraging small players, cable TV operators, thousands of them in the provinces, the top telco, the small telcos in the provinces, to provide low cost but fast internet speed. No, and this way we are. Secretary Honasan has already is coming out with a department order um, to reduce the spectrum users fee for all spectrum that are going to be used for internet. Frequencies to be used by Wi-Fi, frequencies to be used by IP radios, so that even the small players now can afford putting up uh, uh, clientele in their regions. No? One problem of the SUF, the spectrum users fee, is that only the big telcos can afford them because this is usually millions of pesos per year. No, well, the
Yes.
telcos can afford it because they have millions of subscribers, so they just divide the SUF to those millions of subscribers. But a small telco having only 1,000 subscribers or so cannot afford it. So
But
uh,
can the DICT simply assign those spectrum bands that will be only for educational purposes and just give them for free para lahat ng barangay sa Pilipinas, both for government and for education, would have free access to that?
well, yes. In fact, some of these frequencies are actually unlicensed. They should not be. They're free, actually, no.
Okay.
Except that they were included in the mobile frequencies network that has to pay so much SUF. That is also what we are going to discuss this afternoon, no. Um, and once this is in place, and hopefully before the end of the month, small players can now start putting up. In fact, this will, in fact, perk up our economy. If small players can put up internet connectivity to, say, homes, classrooms, in other words, this is going to be a new economy that will be uh, immediately that can be done, no, by us through a simple uh, uh, NTC memorandum circular
Well,
or amendment.
yeah. Clearly, you Rio, that's going to be very important. Because when you think about it, right now, many of my friends who own big restaurants have shut down and they are operating only on takeout. Tatawag ka or you will make a text, you will send a text message or you will send an email and then may pick up. And then,
Yes,
pati sa mga tricycle, I already see that happening. That after a while, even in our place in Lipa, Batangas, tatawag ka sa outpost, sa gatehouse para magpadala ng tricycle. Hindi ka pwedeng basta-basta lalabas kung saan-saan. So, there will be a just really indispensable, undeniable need for connectivity. And
yes.
I think that project of yours and of Secretary Honasan will make a big difference. Ang pinagtatakahan lang namin, Yusek Rio, bakit hindi kayo nakakakuha ng publicity? Why is, well, I'm sorry, my associates in media may not like the comment, but parang hindi interesting para sa kanila yung DICT, yung telecoms, and even for the policymakers. Why is the DICT and internet connectivity not in the front page now?
Well, actually, they are not in the front page because there are more views, no? More appreciated by our public than problems in connectivity. But actually, everyone is feeling the lack of connectivity. They see the need, no?
Mhm.
Um, so we are really going to take advantage of this, and of course, with your help, with the help of the media, we can actually bring out the problems on why we could not roll out as fast as we like to. What are our programs, and and how we are trying to solve this problem, no?
Yeah.
Because
I just
it has
wanted to
been
ask.
shown.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, Sec, kasi maubusan na ako ng oras. There will be a congressional hearing today. I assume you'll be there.
Yes.
Pag-uusapan ba ito? Kasi I'm sure tatanungin kayo, how much time do we need in order for all the needed cell sites and connections can be put up?
As far as what is needed, it's already there, no? 2019, nandiyan na yung yung investment, nandiyan na yung tao nag-to-do, and yun nga, the only problem now is the permits, no? They could not move out as one uh, uh, cell site common tower provider is complaining. You know, sir, in Cambodia, we could have done 10,000 towers in the span of time in 1 year, but now we have only done a less than 1,000. So these are things that that are we will highlight, no? How we compare. Why is it that up to now we have the lowest tower density, not only in the region, no, in the whole world? Why could we have been ahead of Cambodia, Vietnam in rolling out our mobile infrastructure by 5 years, 10 years? But now they have so much more towers than what we have now. No, basically it goes down to our local governments, our people, our subdivisions not allowing uh, cell sites to be placed in their areas.
Isa pa yun. In any case, Yusek Rio, I wish you all the luck. I pray for God's favor to be upon you this afternoon and upon Secretary Honasan so that our members of Congress will come to realize that enough is enough. We have to tell these subdivision presidents and associations, we have to tell these barangay captains and their associates and the local officials, enough is enough. We need connectivity if we want to have a living economy after COVID-19. Maraming salamat po, and may you stay safe, stay strong, and stay healthy. And God bless you, Yusek Rio.
The same, Cito. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you very much for inviting me to your program.
Okay, you're welcome, sir. And that's Undersecretary Eliseo Rio of the Department of Information and Communications Technology. Are you still saving your money? BSP Governor Ben Diokno said back in July that is actually the wrong thing to do in the middle of the pandemic. Instead, he encouraged Filipinos to spend, take advantage of low interest rates, and even get loans if they need it. This is the Best of Agenda 2020. The central bank governor and previously Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management, Governor Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Ben Diokno. Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Cito, at good morning din sa mga nakikinig sa atin.
Okay, I prepared for this, and my statement is better to confess ignorance than to feign intelligence. Pagdating po sa BSP, Governor, wala ako talagang kaalam-alam dyan. So please bear with me if I ask silly questions. And if you wish to interject, go right ahead. Matagal naman tayo magkakilala na. Kanya namin kayo kinukonta kasi maraming tao nagtatanong-tanong. They're asking, okay, totoo ba yun na ang lakas daw ng peso to the dollar? Paano naging malakas ang peso to the dollar? Lahat naman tayo may COVID-19, etc. And anong impact niyan? And also, of course, yung mga remittances, etc. What is our state of affairs, Governor?
Well, alam mo, unang-una, tinamaan tayo. Tinamaan naman buong mundo nitong COVID-19 pandemic, no? Pero tayo, nag-umpisa tayo sa position of strength. Kasi kung ikukumpara mo, for example, itong crisis natin ngayon, doon sa mga nakaraang crisis, alam mo, for example, nung Asian financial crisis, taghirap talaga noon. Wala tayong, yung dollar, yung peso natin nagdi-depreciate, no? Yung interest rate pataas. Naubusan tayo ng tinatawag natin gross international reserves, yung pambayad natin ng utang. Tsaka sama na ekonomiya natin. Ngayon naman, when COVID, the pandemic hit us, maganda ekonomiya natin. We were growing for the last 22 years, Cito, no?
Yes.
And then yung interest rate na natin, alam mo, napababa na namin eh. Nung pumasok ako dito last year, ang interest rate natin was 4.75%. Yun yung policy rate, no? Yun ang nagiging basehan ng pagpapautang ng mga bangko. 4.75% interest rate. Ngayon, nasa 2.25 na lang. I have not seen this kind of interest rate before. Pababa. Tapos yung piso, hindi nga natin, nagtataka nga ako bakit napakalakas ng piso. That's one of the strongest currency in this part of the world. Mas mataas pa tayo, mas malakas pa tayo kaysa sa, for example, yung sa yen, Japanese yen, at saka yung Taiwanese dollar. No? So, unang-una, dahil nga maganda naman na ekonomiya natin bago tayo tinamaan itong COVID pandemic. So, yun talaga estado natin. So, ang inaasahan natin, of course, pihina ang ekonomiya natin this year. Siguro, ang forecast namin around 2 to 3.4%. Babagsak yun. No? Pero next year naman, ay malakas naman yung pagbangon natin. Kung ma-implement natin properly lahat na itong mga stimulus, fiscal and monetary stimulus, nasa natin mga next year around 7 to 8%. In fact, meron pang nagsasabi, I think S&P nagsabi recently na 9.4% ang lalago natin next year.
Okay, that's all good news. Ang tanong naman, Governor, paano mangyayari lahat yan? Kasi pag nag-usap yung Congress at saka yung Department of Finance, ang pinag-uusapan lagi utang. Maraming tao ngayon ang tinatanong, puro tayo utang, saan napupunta yung pera? Now, siguro ang unang tanong ko sa iyo, hindi ba maiiwasan yung pag-utang? And kung mangungutang tayo ng mangungutang, ano naman po ang pangamba ninyo? What are you worried about with all of this massive borrowing, loans, etc.?
Well, unang-una, pag kami ganitong crisis, siyempre ang una diyang iniisip ng Bangko Sentral, anywhere in the world, ay yung tinatawag na liquidity. Kasi unang-una, dahil because of the uncertainty, maraming nagwi-withdraw ng pera. No? Tapos marami naman mga business na siyempre hindi nakakabayad ng kanilang inutang sa bangko. So talagang mawawala ng liquidity. So interest talaga natin you infuse liquidity into the system. Kaya yun ang ginawa namin. Nag-cut kami kagad ng tinatawag na reserve requirement, yung sa bangko, 200 basis points, meaning 2%. No? So for every percent na kakat namin, nag-infuse kami sa sistema ng mga 90 to 100 billion pesos. So ngayon naman, nasasabi natin dahil nga mabilis yung action namin, alam mo, bago pa lang tayo nag-lockdown, talagang sige-sige na kami dito sa Bangko Sentral. No? So hindi natin masasabi na walang liquidity sa sistema. Meron. In fact, napaka-liquid ng sistema natin ngayon. At saka hindi nagpanic ang ating ekonomiya, yung mga savers, may nag-withdraw sila immediately during the lockdown, pero ngayon estado na sila, business hindi naman nagpanic, etc. So yun ang unang natin ginawa, we introduced liquidity. Tapos nagkaroon yung Bayanihan Act, di ba? Sinabi doon na kung ikaw may utang, dapat mo bayaran during the lockdown, i-move natin yon. Walang additional interest because na-delay yung payment. So pag naging yung 30 days muna, naging 60 days, so minove lang natin. So may babayaran kang utang dapat noong Marso, so dapat Abril, babayaran mo na, hindi mo na babayaran, walang interest. No interest on interest and no penalties, no? Ano mga klaseng mga utang yan? Yung salary loans, no? Yung kumbaga meron kang utang sa car loan mo, card payments, housing loans, lahat na post-dated checks na dapat in honor for that period, minove natin lahat yun. So, ang totality niya, if I remember right, mga 60 days na na-move. Walang interest yun.
Okay,
Ngayon,
sorry, Gob, no? Ano po ang kaparusahan sa mga kumpanya na nagpapatong pa ng interest doon sa mga hindi nabayaran? Kasi may order na nga kayo, pero may mga pasaway din na ginagawa pa rin eh.
Uy, pwede mong i-report yun sa IATF. Alam mo, ano yun? Violation yun. Ilalabag mo yung batas na yun, yung Bayanihan Act. Pwede kang mapusahan doon. Ngayon, kung tutuloy ko lang yung superfluous sa BSP. So, inusad natin yan ng mga 60 days. Ngayon, kung hindi ka medyo mabigat pa rin sa'yo dahil nawalan ka ng trabaho, kausapin mo lang yung bangko. Kasi nga, we provided a lot of relief sa bangko. So, sila naman, makikinig sila sa kung gusto nila yung servisyo mo, siyempre makikinig naman sila sa'yo. And they will review your loan, ganun. Pagbibigyan ka nila, I'm sure.
Okay, now,
kung hindi pa rin yan sapat, i-report mo sa BSP at kami naman ay may sistema rito. And ang ano lang namin, we're the arbiter na kami nasa gitna. We talk to the supervised institutions, ang BSP. So we'll find a suitable agreement.
Pasensya ka na, Governor, no, kung nagtatanong ako ng parang consumer question. Kasi you're one of the few people in government that I totally trust, no? And compliments to you. Nung nasa DBM ka, ikaw yung bantay. You tightened the reins of funds. You disallowed lahat yung mga kalokohan. You got into trouble with legislators because you were not going to let them access money para maggamit nila sa kanilang kampanya. So you did a great job as DBM Secretary. Now you're in the BSP. Ang tanong ko, ang haba ng pasakali ko, no? Pero ang tanong ko kasi, under the given situation, gagastos ba kami o magtitipid kami? Dapat bang mangutang para makapagnegosyo o medyo magtimpi na muna for another 60 to 90 days?
Alam mo, nabanggit mo nun, dati kong posisyon yun sa DBM, ang tawag sa akin doon, Dr. No. Marami akong hindi pinagbigyan dahil nga hindi naman pera ng bayan yung nahawakan natin. So maingat tayo. Pero in this case, no, nasa crisis tayo. The wrong thing to do ay magtipid. Alam mo kasi, bagsak na nga ekonomiya, magtitipid ka pa, walang pupuntahan yung ekonomiya. No? Kaya namin nga binaba yung interest rate. We are encouraging people na, for example, if you're a consumer, meron kang project, home project, gusto mo maglagay ng additional room dahil nga sa kailangan may separation o yun lang, leaking roof, no? Kasi tag-ulan na, gagawin mo naman din yun. Punta ka sa bangko, mangutang ka o gastusin mo yung, kung meron ka nakasave dyan, gastusin mo siya. Kasi ang interest rate nga natin ngayon, 2.25. Noong nag-umpisa ako dito sa BSP, 4.75 yun. So we are encouraging consumers to buy the essential things, no? Kung may pera kang extra money, because mahirap mag-travel ngayon, kung walang public transport, pwede ka nang bumili ng mga maliliit na kotse, di ba? Or second-hand car. Gastusin mo yan. Kung ikaw naman ay investor, kung meron ka naisip na business na magsusurvive under the new normal, punta ka sa bangko, manghiram ka. Alam mo, ang daming pera talaga. There's so much liquidity.
Hindi ba sila baka hindi sila matunawan sa dami ng pera nila, Governor, no? Kasi I always wonder about that. What happens to banks when they have so much money but businessmen don't want to borrow money? There are no businesses that you can invest those money entrusted to you. Kasi ang nabasa ko, pinarada nila yung pera sa BSP. Marami
Correct.
sa kanilang, yun, paki-explain nga yun.
Cito, yun na nga, binabalik lang nila sa amin, dinideposito nila sa amin. In fact, 1 trillion at one time na binabalik lang sa amin eh. Ayaw namin yun. Sabi namin sa kanila, ipahiram nyo yan sa small businesses, sa mga taong gusto nangangailangan, pahiram ninyo yan. Kaya nga binababa namin ng binababa yung interest rate. So it's going to be costly for them also kung ibabalik lang nila sa amin kasi ang babayaran na namin sila ngayon instead na dati mga nasa 2.5 or 3%. Ngayon na 1.75 na lang ang ibibigay namin sa kanila, babayad namin sa kanila. So we are really encouraging people to spend their money for essential goods and for consumer investment also. Yung mga entrepreneurs natin na nangangailangan ay manghiram sila sa bangko para magkaroon ng activity sa ekonomiya.
Nung bago ako sa paghahanap buhay, ang lagi kong sinasabi noon, I was working for an electronics company. I was saying, if you really want to move your products, kailangan mag-introduce tayo ng installment plan mahaba. And then I got into motoring, sinasabi ko yun. And apparently, medyo nauna ako sa panahon, hindi pa uso yun sa mga bangko. But later on, the bank started adopting that system. I'm not taking credit for it, but they discovered that on their own na dapat pala magpautang tayo or magbenta tayo ng products on extended loan. Ngayon, ang dami na nga mga hardware, appliance, zero interest. Now, doon po sa mga pautang sa businesses, do you see the emergence of long-term loans, meaning uutang ako hindi yung payable in 2 months but payable in 20 years na lang kasi wala namang paglalagyan ng pera? And what safety nets does the Bangko Sentral have para naman doon sa mga magpapautang? Kasi siyempre, yung mga bangko, ipapautang kami pero malaki ang possibility, 15 to 20% yata na magkakaroon ng bad loans or default kasi ang sama ng ekonomiya.
Marami na ngayon mga ganon. Marami kaming mga regulasyon na pinag-iingat natin yung mga bangko, no? So ngayon hindi na it's not uncommon na nakakita ka ng 5 years to pay or kaya pwede nga ngayon because of the relief na binibigay namin sa mga bangko. Pwede sila pautang siguro mga 7 years to pay. Mas maluwag, hindi at mas mababa ang interest. So yun naman ang ginagawa namin as Bangko Sentral. Alam mo yung sa total na ginawa namin additional relief, binaba namin ang interest rate, binaba namin yung reserve requirement. Sinusuma namin on the part of the Bangko Sentral alone, we have actually released the equivalent of 1.3 trillion pesos or about 7% GDP. 7% GDP. Yan ang tulong natin sa ekonomiya natin para makabangon. Ganon kalaki ang ginawa ng Bangko Sentral.
Paano naman yung mga foreign currency mo, Governor? Kasi ang balita ko, you now have at any point in time, tama ba yung basa ko o mali-mali na naman ako, na yung dollar reserves, foreign currency reserves natin ay sobrang puno na raw. Kumbaga, puno yung takilya.
Sa kasalukuyan ay 93.3 billion US dollars. Ganun yun. Equivalent yan sa 8 months of imports requirement. In other words, ang sabi sa theory, sa pag-aaral namin, pag meron kang 3 months of your imports requirement, okay ka na. Meron tayong about 8 months, no? So 93.3 billion US dollars at ang tingin namin before the end of the year ay baka abot siya ng mga 95-96 billion US dollars. Highest yan, the highest yan, Cito. So talagang maganda yung ekonomiya natin, kaya naman siguro patuloy na lumalakas yung piso.
Okay, kasi hindi namin napapag-usapan yan. Kanya mabuti yung paminsan-minsan yung nagtatanong yung tanga o yung ignorante para lumalabas. Hindi, kasi ako talaga wala akong alam dyan. Di ba?
Tama yan. Kasi sabi ko nga itong crisis nito ay kung di lang, kaya naman humina yung ekonomiya dahil sinadya natin. Ang tawag ko dito recession induced by the lockdown. Kasi hindi natin sinarayan, wala tayong ganitong recession. Kaya lang, siyempre, ang prioridad natin is to save lives instead of livelihood. Ngayon naman, sa tingin ko, oras na para magbukas yung ekonomiya, gradually, but kailangan na tayo magbukas na ekonomiya natin.
Okay. Kung papahintulutan mo, Governor, no? May Governor. Pareho, tama, Governor. May nagtatanong ding Governor. Hindi ko na muna sasabihin yung pangalan. Ang comment niya, national government wants to do everything, wants to do everything alone when they can reach out and unite all provinces and mayors to spend together as one. That is the great stimulus and injection needed on the ground for businesses to have confidence and move the economy forward. That is, of course, assuming we have COVID under control. I am just proceeding from a logical thought process. Nobody here is trying to be smart, nor do we want to grandstand. That is why I would rather, I think essentially what he's saying is parang yung may Marshall Plan ba? Kasi yun ang lagi kong tinatanong, Gobe. I think he's saying dapat lahat sabay-sabay gumagastos, may pinagkakagastusan para yung mga consumer naman, kung gumagastos si Governor, nagpapagawa ng mga kung ano-ano, o si Mayor, pati ako magpapagawa na rin ng bahay, as you suggested earlier.
Tama yan. Alam mo, ang naisip ko na maganda talaga is what's called Emergency Employment Program na magtutulong-tulong ng national government at saka ang local government. No? So, marami rin pera yung pamahalang lokal mga in fact sa IRA lang nila, if I remember right, siguro maabot na ngayon ng mga 700 billion ang pera ng lokal. Binibigay lang ng national government yan sa kanila. So, why not an employment program where siguro yung barangay will identify kung sinong identify one member of the family. Hindi naman pwedeng 10 member ng family i-employ mo na para ma-distribute. And then 50-50 or 75-25 depende kung ano mapagkayarihan na for every 50% na ilalagay ng local government may counterpart ang national government, di ba? So magkakaroon ka ng employment at the barangay level. So hindi mo na kailangan magsakay ng tricycle o magsakay ng jeep para doon ka mismo sa barangay mag-create ng employment. Ang dami-dami na dapat gawin, di ba? Maglinis ka lang ng kalye, maglinis ka lang ng ilog, magtanim ka doon you can have a demonstration farm, magtanim ka ng mga puno sa bundok. Ganon. Kaya yung gawin So, for every barangay, meron silang employment program. Di ba? Pag meron kang tao, may pera sa bulsa, nakakatulong sa ekonomiya yon.
Tama ka doon, Governor. Kasi, sasabihin ng mga magagaling, hindi, may COVID nga But here's the thing. I saw several barangays locked down all over Metro Manila. And sabi, 48 hours o 7 days lockdown. Sabi ko, magaling. Puro kayo lockdown. May naglilinis ba yung sidewalk? May nagdi-disinfect ba ng mga bahay? Meron bang nagdi-disinfect ng mga kalsada? Wala. So, nilockdown mo lang yung tao, hindi ka naman nagpalinis. But when you mention this emergency employment, naalala ko tuloy kung naalala mo pa nung nagpupunta pa tayo nun sa Tanay, yung nagba-Bible study ako kay President Estrada. Natatandaan mo yung kalsada nun, na laging
Oh.
punong-puno. Malapit ang eleksyon nun eh. Punong-puno ng mga naglilinis ng kalsada.
Correct, correct. Time, yeah.
Hindi na natin
Tama.
sasabihin kung kaninong area yon, pero yun yung
Ang tawag nun,
emergency.
cleaning brigade, employment agency talaga yun, emergency employment. Pwede natin
Yeah.
gawin yun, di ba? Pwede natin gawin yun. So for example, you try to hire them for the next siguro 6 months hanggang end of the year man lang. Para ma-solve natin, kasi ako, between giving assistance or giving jobs, mas mabuti naman siguro yung giving jobs, di ba? Mas nakakatanggap-tanggap yun, na pinagtrabahuan mo yung kinakain mo, di ba?
At saka makakalabas pa ang tao, naaarawan, napapawisan, nahahanginan, hindi yung nakakulob sila at nagkakasakit. In any case, that is a wonderful suggestion, Governor, and siyempre, hindi ko na po kailang ulit-ulitin. Every time na nakakausap ko kayo, meron akong natututunan tungkol sa ekonomiya. And I'm really happy. I'm happy we interviewed you this morning because it gives a good picture to an otherwise very challenging week na kung saan tumataas naman ng COVID. Sana habang tumataas yung mga kaso na yon, pataas pa ng pataas yung ating mga savings dyan sa BSP o Forex, etc. Thank you, Governor. But if you have any last words, please go ahead.
Hindi, lagi kong sinasabi, I think this unprecedented crisis, let's not put this to waste. We should learn lessons from it, and then let's take advantage of these lessons and let's adopt it. So pag nagkaroon na ng final settlement, we'll be stronger, the economy will be fairer, and we can be more competitive as a nation.
Okay. Thank you, Governor Ben Diokno. And again, congratulations to your stellar performance at the BSP, as well as your great work at the DBM. We are benefiting from your efforts and, of course, your team at the BSP. Maraming salamat po. Please stay strong, stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless you.
Keep safe.
Okay. That's Governor Ben Diokno of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.